I was going to talk about some of the questions I commonly get around my couple of Goldwings that I have in my collection right now. This one is my 75 Candy Blue Green Special is the paint color. In videos it looks real blue, but in reality there's definitely a green to it. Almost, some people have called it teal. I don't know if I agree with that, but I know my camera phone captures it as blue. But you got to see it in person. There's definitely a green to it. And depending on the light, if it's LED lights or if it's sunlight, high noon or evening, it kind of looks different depending on the lighting. I know right now it looks blue. But to my eyes it looks blue-green. It's got some really neat stripes here, orange and gold. And those carry over, at least the gold, to the radiator shrouds here. And the side panel graphics, orange and gold. I think Honda did a real nice job tying the colors together. Now the 75s, the Honda logo here on the engine had a blue background, and the couple of 76s that I've owned, that's black. And I don't really know the history of that. They always seem to peel, and I've restored these using some sort of translucent paint that I found at the hardware auto parts store. And these just pop right off the covers. You can lay it flat and using a paintbrush just kind of fill it in, and the paint will flow around the letters and it fills in real nice. It's not hard at all. So if you've thought about it, just give it a try. You just pop this off. Screwdriver will do it, but it's probably better to use like a plastic credit card or something. Might be a little safer. One thing that I commonly find is the black steel part of the exhaust usually has surface rust. I did get lucky with my yellow 76. It did not. It still has the original black paint. That bike was stored indoors probably for its whole life because there was not much rust on it at all. Other than the lug on the starter for the cable to the battery. That was rusted, so I did have to replace the starter. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. But this bike, I found some high temp semi-gloss paint. I think it was from Rust-Oleum. And I was able to clean it, paint it, get it nice and hot, and it's holding up really well. I ride this bike a lot, usually short distances, but this paint has held up. And you can see that the chrome has survived really well on this one. I've seen some where this gets really pitted, but this one has really withstood 50 years and stayed very nice. The shocks, when I got this bike, they had quite a bit of surface rust, but soaking for a few days in evaporust does wonders. And then I typically take a strip of fabric, cut an old towel or something with some chrome polish and just kind of run it around the coils here, and it cleans up real nice. These things look great. Seat is original, 50-year-old seat, holding up well. The chrome hardware here did get rusty. Almost every one that I've ever seen has been rusty. These are reproduction parts here, but they look close enough. I'll live with it. I don't mind. These grab bars can be hard to find if you ever buy one of these without the grab bar. There's some reproductions out there that look pretty good. They're stainless steel, but the original chrome, those are tough. If you do find them, they're usually not cheap. But they're important for mounting the turn signals properly. A lot of them end up with a bracket here on the license plate bracket. The turn signals get relocated back here if the bike has ever had luggage. So you might see that. But this is where they belong. They should be rubber mounted. This one is not. I don't know what they did. but it's real solid, it doesn't move. My yellow one that I'll show in a few minutes, that has the original rubber mounts, and it's got some give to it, which I'm sure helps the old light bulbs withstand vibrations and bouncing down the road. All of the aluminum parts on these bikes are usually oxidized and pitted. These were pretty bad. I spent a lot of time wet sanding and polishing. This one, they're starting to look a little weathered again. I may, sometime when I'm bored, pull these off and give them another polish. Before they get pitted, I think it would be pretty easy just to clean these up. I just have a cheap buffing wheel from Harbor Freight, and I bought the pad from somewhere on Amazon, and it works real well. I just use the Red Rouge, and these things can end up looking like chrome. I'll show you on my engine that I'm working on right now for another 75. I use the same process, and as you can see, it looks real good. So this bike might be due for a refresh on some of this aluminum. I've heard you can clear coat it, but the clear coat may turn yellow. I've heard of putting Mop and Glow, the old floor wax, over it. So I don't know. I guess I'll think about that. This bike, the decal on the radiator had a big gouge through it when I bought it. I found a replacement radiator on eBay. This one's real nice. I really like having the original decals, even if it's just something as simple as a warning label. The gauges on the 75s usually don't hold up well. Whatever material they used on the backing typically starts cracking, and they look real shabby. These I ended up sending out to somebody in the Netherlands that does restorations. He not only creates the faces, but he does the work. But since that time, he's no longer doing the work, but he recommends somebody else in the Netherlands to use his parts, and then they do the actual restoration. I did this during COVID. It took about 11 months to get them back, which was frustrating, but the world was a mess at that time, so I guess I can have some understanding. I did not have the fuel gauge restored because this one is pretty good. Didn't seem to need it. I still have the original warning sticker here, which has seen better days, but hey, it's original. I'm going to keep it. I think we all know how these open up. Airbox access. The air filter housing was a little rough looking when I bought this one, so I stripped and painted it. I actually used brake caliper paint and baked it in the oven, so nice hard finish. It's been holding up real well. Didn't need to do anything with the gas cap. Of course, the gas tank was a mess inside. Used a lot of vinegar, followed by a lot of evaporust. And then Harbor Freight has a large variety of long attachments for your drill that you can reach in the tank and get a lot of it clean. And this one I did get very clean inside. And I just keep it full as much as possible. Don't really give any moisture a chance to start attacking. I just keep it full of gas up to the top. So for the past few years that I've owned it, that's been working well for me. Engine-wise, I did not need to open the engine on this bike. I sent the carbs out to one of the Randak's approved carb rebuilders. They came back looking excellent. They work excellent. Very happy with the money I spent on that. I did convert it to a Dyna ignition. This had some ignition on it that I'd never heard of. I forget the name offhand. It had a module zip tied to the frame under the false tank. Something I'd never seen. And it was a little suspect, so I put the Dyna in it. You can tell by the gray wire, and it runs great. Very happy with that. And I believe I painted the cover here for the ignition Looks like I could touch that up a little bit. And then this cover, it's kind of a heat shield. Every bike I've worked on, this has rust. So I always end up stripping that and painting it. And there's a duplicolor silver engine paint that matches the Honda engine color really well. I personally don't detect a difference from here to here. I did not paint this. This is original. This is what I painted. So it's just a spray can, and the engine heat cures it. So it works well for me. And then another thing that always rusts are the center stand and kickstand, side stand. The springs are always rusty. The hardware gets rusty. You can still get a new spring for the center stand and the side stand from Honda. The bolts I just cleaned up, de-rusted them, cleaned them up with wire brush, and they're holding up real well. I wondered if having the zinc coating eaten away by rust would affect it, but they're holding up. So I think that's all the details I can think of at the moment on this one. Let's take a look at my 76. So here's my 76, also with original paint. This one was a Garage Queen. Paint is just about flawless. I bought this bike, I knew the paint was great. I was a little naive, I didn't know just how special it was. And after I restored this and rode it for a year, I sold it. I thought, I don't think I'm really an old bike guy. This was my first one that I bought. And I regretted it immediately. And I would text the owner about once a year, telling him, hey, if you ever decide to sell, I would be interested in having it back. And after about 3 years, he called me back and said, I am downsizing. I think I'm ready to let it go. And he was nice enough to sell it back to me for what he paid for it. So I was beyond thrilled to get it back. All original paint. Frame is original paint. Body. Typical things that I repainted. This cover. Center stand. Side stand. Center stand hasn't held up as well on this one. I don't remember what paint I used, but I'm going to probably end up stripping that and redoing it. This exhaust still has the original paint on it. It's not as perfectly black as the other one, but it is original. I don't want to mess with it. Brake calipers on both of these bikes I've stripped and repainted and restored. Nice shock. Nice grab bar, nice chrome. The turn signals do have the rubber dampeners in them, so they have some movement the way Honda intended. It's kind of nice. I did not have to replace the fuel pump on this one. I did on the other. Forgot to mention that. But this is the fuel pump, possibly still from 1976. I don't know. But never had a problem with it, so no reason to change it. And here's the original black background on these engine logos. Look at that paint. Someone took such good care of this one. On both of these bikes, I also spent a lot of hours wet sanding and polishing the fork tubes. They're always pitted. The clear coat's always peeling. So, not factory having it polished, but it does look nice. And these gauges are original. Did not need to restore these. You'll notice these are more of a green. That's the way Honda made them. The 75s were a green-black color, much darker. And the 76 is this more obvious green. Kind of a cool color. And the fuel gauge matches that. But it's amazing, this sticker has held up so well. Still have an original decal on the rear fender. As far as I know, still the original seat. Reproduction buckles here in hardware. They all rust. Both bikes I ended up repainting these triangles. They don't tend to hold up as well for whatever reason. And then you may notice the chrome covers here for the carbs, garnish, whatever you want to call them. They're larger on the 76s. The 75 leaves all these linkages exposed, and Honda decided to cover those up on the 76 in later years. So the 75s are kind of unique with that. You can tell right away if it's been messed with, if they don't have the short ones. The shaft drive on these is really beefy. This one still has the original paint, which is pretty good, not perfect. Good enough for me. I like original. And these are, I believe, the original spokes. I did replace the spokes on that 75. They were pretty rusty. These are holding up real well. This bike may have never seen rain before I bought it. I don't know. It's just a really nice shape. All the chrome is still good. These are such great bikes. If you've thought about it, go find yourself one. They're pretty easy to work on. Carbs are a little complicated, but there's experts that'll do them for you. But for the most part, if you can figure out the ignition, figure out the timing belts, it is a joy to work on it. They're very nice to ride. They bring compliments wherever they go. Highly recommend it. So I hope this was not too boring, and I will see you when I get my other 75 project rolling. I'm waiting for the frame coming back from powder coat, and I'll have some updates for you on that one.